Hello, 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 hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another reading of Days of Darkness by yours truly. My name is Angelique. I am the author and the illustrator of this book. That is a collection of insights and inspirations that I pulled from some of the dark challenges that I experienced during my early 20s. When I was navigating depression and suicidal ideation. And it's a book that offers quick stories from my life, quick insights and lessons that support me now, even. I feel like every time I'm reading this, it pertains to something happening in my life right now. And the idea really is to just have something quick and simple to inspire people, inspire myself in the day. And if there's something specific that you're navigating, just quickly popping to one of the lessons or one of the chapters that shares a story and knowing that there is something greater than what we are experiencing in our present moment, that we can expand into something different, that transformation is possible. Making some adjustments around the availability of the physical copies of this book, I came to the conclusion recently that I will simply allow the limited print that has been done already to be the print that there is. You know, there are, technically 99 copies because, it's about 99. It's more around 90 because of certain different defects and things that happened. But this one is mine. So technically there were 100 printed, and like I said, a few of them have defects. And so there's about 90 or so floating around in this planet, and I'm going to simply allow that to be what it is. And I do plan on having it available as an ebook so that people can download it and have it and print out the coloring pages. And if they want to, print out some of the lessons and the stories, then absolutely, do that. So between now, which is November, and January, which is tomorrow, the ebook will be available, and I'll be doing some updates on my website, vzspaces.com. That is V as in victory, Z as in zebra, and spaces as in space with an S. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Beautiful things are happening. And I will just let that be there. So this time, also, it's not just a reading book, it's also a coloring book. These beautiful abstract illustrations, just to allow oneself to color without any pressure or sense of obligation of perfection, today we're going to be reading the story, Moving into Isolation. And some of these stories I have felt inspired to expand on them because I don't really give all of the things about what was happening during these times, because I wanted it to be like quick and digestible. However, there's more here. So that's something that I might be working on, that you might be seeing depending on when you are watching this video. And if it's the first video that you're watching, please know that we are towards the tail end of the book here. So I highly encourage you to go back on YouTube, go back on Instagram, and take in the story in the chapter from the beginning. So yeah, I'm gonna read the author's note and dedication to get us going. Author's note. This is a work of nonfiction. The events and experiences detailed herein have been described from the author's memory to the best of the author's ability. This publication is designed to provide personally experienced information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is sold and shared with the understanding that the author is not engaged in rendering psychological, financial, legal, or other professional services. If specific expert assistance or counseling is needed, the services of a competent professional in that field should be sought. So, I am a certified coach. I am not a licensed therapist or psychologist. Therefore, I will not be diagnosing anybody with anything. I will not be providing people with any drugs. I am not here to give legal advice or financial advice or relationship advice. I'm simply sharing from my experience. And I do have a community program called the Choose Change program, where we do activation activities, mantras, journaling, and we dive into certain areas of life so that we can create the change that we want to see in our lives. However, that is a self-paced, self-activated situation because our journeys are our own. We have to do the work. However, we don't have to do it alone, which is why there's a community space to come do it. So if that is of interest to you, definitely reach out. So yes, continuing. Parental advisory, content warning. Topics of suicide and depression, some sexually suggestive situations, and strong language. And I like to make the note that if at any point you feel that you need to step away, press pause, get some water, do some breathing, process, color the page if you have the book, or color something of your own. Definitely do that. Honor yourself. Take the time to process what's moving through you. And I also appreciate your grace and space as I'm reading through the story, and it brings up different energies for me, and I process in real time here with you all. Dedication. This book is dedicated to all the younger versions of me. She is the giant upon whose shoulders I stand. Without her strength, perseverance, and resilience, I wouldn't be able to stand as tall as I do today. I love you, little me. Also, thank you to the virtual mentors who have poured light into my mind and heart. Your decision to be a light keeper in this world has saved millions of lives, including mine. Also, special shout out to Lisa Nichols and Motivating the Masses. This book would literally not exist without going to Speak It Right to Make Millions, and knowing that there was a story in my belly that I could stand on instead of getting sucked into, and that I could use my story to support and inspire others. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Motivating the Masses. And yeah, pausing for the thumbnail, we are getting into the story, moving into isolation. If you spoke to the people I was around during my sprint of selfishness, my demon days, they probably still want nothing to do with me. Even the people who heard about my actions secondhand labeled me with a big red X, which they have every right to do. Their forgiveness isn't mine to expect or seek. How they choose to feel about me is their choice. At the time, I had no one of my own. I had no community connections outside of my ex, my roommates, and some people that I knew through them. I had no one who I had a personal, independent relationship with. There was no one to mirror my light, my greatness. There was no one to mirror my light, my greatness to me in that season. There was no one to hold me accountable and say, hey, this isn't you. These dark, ego-driven choices aren't who you are. It was just me, my thoughts, and a biting bitterness encouraging me to be unkind and uncaring. I wanted out, and that's what I got. I was pushed to move out. Source made a way for me. I was set on a new path with a new perspective. Before I was completely moved out, I took a 2-week trip to Markham, Illinois, the neighborhood I grew up in. On that quick trip, I recognized that there was nothing there for me either. One of the reasons I left in the first place. I accepted that I had to stay on my own path, in my own place. When I got back to LA, I moved into a studio apartment. It was the first time I lived completely by myself. It was strange and new. I quickly came to see how I had been so full of other people's noise and a darkness that I had embraced. I had become a stranger to myself. I spent so much time and energy trying to fit into other people's squares of what it meant to be a good or bad person. I forgot I am a boundless pool of light. This is how the seed of darkness grew into an all-consuming prison. Isolation taught me that I can't fit anyone's mold but my own, and even that mold isn't set in stone. It expands as I do. Isolation gave me permission to fully explore and express myself without fear of judgment. It solidified in me a foundation of self-love and acceptance. It allowed me to begin dedicating my mind to the insights and inspirations of thought leaders and speakers who had navigated their own unique challenges. And for that, I am grateful. Moving into isolation. I am super grateful for that season that I had, even though it came with some challenges that, like I said, I can express in another publishing. Having that time alone really gave a strong opportunity for me to just be in my own energy. And that was something I had, like I said, I had never experienced that. I went from living in my parental home, my childhood home, to living in dorms at school, back to living in my parental home, to staying at a family member's house, to living in hostels and hotels and shared spaces like that, to living with my my partner at the time, my ex, and these other people. And, you know, and then I was living by myself in a studio apartment. And it was such an interesting clearing because I didn't have to consider what other people were thinking about me or thinking about the space, or I wasn't managing other people's experiences or emotions. And I got to feel what that felt like, to just be like, how are you, Angelique? What is your feeling? What are your feelings feeling? How do you feel about the space? What is your routine? What is your routine? Not what is it that someone else is going to do. So you have to move and navigate and fold yourself around what other people are doing. What is it that you do? Who are you? And it was really fantastic. And it really did lay a groundwork of self-acceptance and self-appreciation, and just acknowledging that I am an individual experience happening on this planet. And with the work that I was doing, there was a lot of listening to things on repeat. There was a lot of crying, sobbing, weeping, wailing. And I didn't have to be concerned about how others would perceive that or try to interject. It really was this beautiful cleansing and clearing out. And it really helped me to deepen my respect for silence and aloneness, and knowing that I didn't have to feel lonely because I was alone. So yeah, I think the next chapter is isolation is a gift. Yes. And we'll unpack that on the next video, because it really truly is an opportunity to detach from the entanglement. And we really don't recognize how enveloped we are with other people's energies and ideas and perspectives and opinions until we sit by ourselves in some space where it's just us for an extended period of time. So yeah, beautiful, grateful. Who wrote this? No, I'm kidding. So again, there is only a limited release of the physical copies. However, I do know some folks that have multiple copies, and yeah. So if you are interested in getting a physical copy, someone may be willing to share or resell or circulate the ones that they have. Otherwise, you can get the ebook and, enjoy it that way. Good stuff. So that is all for me today. You can check me out on Instagram at VZ Spaces. Check out the YouTube channel at VZ Spaces. And of course, if you have any pictures or commentary, you can also reach me at via email at vzspaces@gmail.com. And I will see y'all on the next one. Have a beautiful, wonderful, absolutely spectacular, magical day. Because you deserve it. Because you are worthy. Because you are the creator of your day. And you can choose to create those things. And I'm rooting for you. Peace.